Salvete omnes. This is chapter 37, exercise A. We are to translate the following words or phrases from Latin into English. Number 1. Utrius puellae. Utrius puellae. So this is uter, utra, utrum, which means which of two. So we're asking which of two. So there are two girls. We're asking of which girl. Utrius, you have to get used to these heteroclite adjectives where the genitive ends in an ius, like utrius. You've seen this in the demonstratives, eius, huius, and ilius. Now you see it in ipsius, the emphatic pronoun. You also kind of see it in eustem, idem, eadem, idem, because that's formed off of id. And those unus nauta heteroclite adjectives, of which uter is one. So utrius, the genitive singular ends in an ius for all genders, and the dative singular ends in the letter I. It would be utri. Puellae is genitive singular. So we're saying of which girl. There are two girls, and we're saying of which girl. Which girls of the two. Number 2. Alteri militi. So alteri comes from alter, altera, alterum. This is to be distinguished from alius aud. Alius aud means another. It's an other. Whereas alter, altera, alterum means the other. Definite article, the other, instead of the indefinite an other, another. Think of alter as like the alternative, the alternate. You have one thing and then you have the alternative, the other one. So there are, in essence, two things. Like uter, utra, utrum implies there are two things, and we're asking which one of the two? Which girl of the two? Alteri refers to the other militi soldier. And it's dative because it's one of those heteroclite adjectives, unus nauta, alteri. Militi is also dative singular masculine. So it's something like to the other soldier. Alter can also be translated as the second because there are two things. There's one and then there's the other one, the second one. So you could say to the second soldier, to the other soldier, for the other soldier. This thing is for dative the other soldier. Number 3, civium ipsorum. So civium is the genitive plural of civus, civus, common, masculine or feminine. And then ipsorum is the genitive plural masculine of ipse, ipsa, ipsum, the emphatic or intensive pronoun. Agrees with civium and gender numbering case. So genitive plural of the citizens themselves. Of the citizens themselves. Of the very citizens. You know which ones. The very ones indeed, yea, I say. The emphatic, the intensive pronoun. The citizens themselves. Number 4. Utrique puero. Utrique puero. So utrique comes from uterque, utraque, utrumque. When you add que to the end of a word, and be careful, don't confuse it with the conjunction que, which means and, but if you add que as a suffix to the end of a word, it adds the meaning of every to an interrogative word. So if we have ubi, that's where. Ubique means everywhere. Unde, meaning from where or whence. Undique, every whence, from everywhere, all gates. Quis, quid, who or what. become quisque or quidque, each one, everyone. Uter, utra, utrum, which of two, like in number 1. Adding que, uterque, utraque, utrumque, mean each one of two each boy. Utrique puero, to each boy. Utri being the dative. The que part does not decline. The que part stays the same. So the que part, like edem, eadem, edem, the dem part, that part never actually declines. So you're going to decline the ed part, the ea part, and the ed part in edem, eadem, edem, and in uter, utra, utrumque, you decline the uter, utra, utrum part, and you leave the que part alone. So we have uterque, each one of two, to each one of the two boys, to either boy. Number 5, in ipsa villa. In ipsa villa, we have in plus the ablative showing location, ipsa, ipsa, ipsum, to agree with villa, I, feminine farmhouse. In the farmhouse, and ipse, the emphatic, the intensive pronoun, and it's ablative singular feminine, ipsa, to agree with villa. In the farmhouse itself. In the very farmhouse. You know which one, the emphatic, this one, that farmhouse. You know, ipse, the farmhouse itself. 6, ab eadem urbe. So preposition ab takes the ablative from, away from, to show separation. Eadem, this is from edem, eadem, edem. The root of edem, eadem, edem is is-ea-id. It has a dem attached to it. The dem does not decline. It stays dem, like que stays the same in uterque, utraque, utrumque. It's the is-ea-id part of edem, eadem, edem that does the declining. So eadem, this is going to be, and it has a macron over it, eadem, so ablative singular feminine to agree with the ablative singular feminine urbe, from urbs, urbis feminine, from the same city. Edem, eadem, edem means the same, from the same city. We're coming from the same city. Number 7, Aliyud oppidon. Aliyud oppidon. So Aliyud from alius aud, that is an other, written as a single word, another, as opposed to alter, altera, alterum, the other, definite article, the other, as in there's one and then the other, the alternative. Alius aud is another, so more than just two. There's another one, and then another one, and then another one, and another one, and good gosh, another one, and good gravy, another one, and wow, another one? Oppidon. Notice it's alius ud, like ille, illa, illud, and agrees with oppidon. So it's another town, not the other town. There's two towns, and we're talking about the other one. There's Aliyud oppidum, another town, more than two. As opposed to number 8, alterum oppidum, alter, altera, alterum, the other town. There are two towns in total, and we're talking about alterum, the other town. We could also say the second town. This is very similar to number 2. Number 9, equus alterius. Equus alterius, where alterius, because it's a heteroclite, is the genitive, ius, of alter, altera, alterum. So the genitive is going to be alterius for all genders, and then alteri, like it is in sentence number 2, is going to be the dative singular. So alterius will be genitive. It's the horse genitive of the other. the other's horse, the other person's horse. We don't know the sex of the person because alterius ius is the same for masculine, feminine, and neuter. The horse of the other, the second person's horse, the other person's horse, the other person's horse, as opposed to number 10, equus alienus. Alienus, because if you take alius aud and try and add ius to it, weird things happen. Try it out. It's kind of odd. So what would the genitive of alius aud be? It should be ius because it's a genitive. It should have an I because it's a dative. Typically, we use the adjective alienus to stand in for the genitive, and sometimes the dative of alius aud. So the adjective is alienus and you can see the word alien there, which means different or another person's. So this is equus alienus. It stands in for the genitive of alius aud. So it's the horse of another. It's another person's horse, as opposed to number 9, where it's the other person's horse, the second person's horse. Number 10 is another person's horse. Horse belonging to alienus, another. Optime, very well done. That wraps it up for exercise A. You are now ready to move on to exercise B.